the season. It was only poetic justice that it should be scored by the senior from Omaha, Joe Orduna. Orduna had had operations on both knees. There was a certain amount of doubt as to his ability to perform on those weak joints. But before the season was over, Joe Orduna was the complete football player that everyone felt he could be. Now, let's pick up that first touchdown of the season with Joe Orduna.
First and goal to go at the Wake Forest 5. Angle split right, Orduna in the slot. Here's the snap to give to Orduna. Touchdown! Joe Orduna right up the middle on the left side, and Nebraska has scored.
There it was. That's the way the season was to start, and there were many, many touchdowns scored in the 1970 season by a great offensive football team, the University of Nebraska Cornhuskers.
6.5 minutes left in this first quarter. Wake Forest leads 3-0. There's a give to Rogers on the reverse. He runs to the 43-yard line of Wake Forest, and oh, how he ran that reverse. The cornerback on the left side was standing there, and Rogers started outside and then just gave him a hip and took it away and went inside and just left that fella standing there counting his change. All right, Wake Forest, two running backs. Russell rolling back to throw. He's being rushed. Oh, he got hit. He turned right in and was blindsided by Johnny Pitts coming in there. Pitts and Adkins and Perriard turned Larry Russell back toward this side of the field, which was the west side, and then Pitts blindsided him. He's the defensive right end and dropped him at the 45 of the Deacons for a big loss.
Nebraska's tandem quarterback situation was and is a blessing in disguise to this staff. Jerry Taggy was the starter in the first game. Later in the Wake Forest game, Jerry scored one of his own touchdowns.
The fans are shouting, go, go, go. Taggy's taking a look at the bench to see if they're going to send Rogers in. No, they are not. It looks like they'll go for that 2.5 yards that they need. Angle split left. Look at them stack up that defensive line right now. About 7 or 8 men. Here's Taggy keeping beautifully at the 10, the 5, touchdown!
And the Cornhuskers come up over the football. Slot back is Johnny Rogers to the right. Ingalls is split end to the right. They give us to Orduna. Orduna breaks all the way to the 10, to the 5. He's in for the touchdown. Boy, I'll tell you something. That Orduna can explode into a line, but let me tell you just something else that you better write down in the book. That big Fig Newton really knocks a hole in there when he throws that block on that left side of the line. That big guy really has got All-American written all over it. Deep in their own territory is Larry Russell, their quarterback, fakes the handoff. He's dropping back to throw. He's being chased. He's being engulfed and thrown at the 15-yard line, and the man on top of him was Ed Perriard, and turning him in was Pitts, Wallin. As the rush came in, Wallin turned him in, and Perriard gobbled him up right around the 15-yard line.
67,000 Nebraska fans.
Trojans over the ball on a 3rd and 3 at their own 45. They shift back out of the eye now. They started in it, then went out of it, and they gave us to Evans, the fullback, and he's hit hard right at the 45 for no gain. It's Perriard, the middle guard, banged through there. With him came Willie Harper and Dave Wallin. Also in there was Jerry Murtaugh, All-American candidate at linebacker. And so no gain absolutely. It's 4th and 3 at the Huskers over the ball. Taggy gives the ball in there to Rogers down to about the 29-yard line before he's finally hauled down. And they took an official down there with him. Johnny Rogers breaking back on that reverse, cutting inside. Beautiful handoff from Taggy on the right side of the line. Just wiped him out as Rogers came through. Put the ball down to the Troy 29, where it's another first down and 10 to go. All right, the Cornhuskers huddle back at the 37 of Troy. They come out of that huddle. They're into the eye with split receivers left and right. Jerry Taggy looks over at his offense. He gives to Orduna. He breaks into the line to the 10, and he's hit down right about the 15-yard line. Joe Orduna hit down at the 15-yard line. He went over the 20 and ran right out of the arms of somebody, and finally Mike Halochak, the roverback, got him at the 15 of Troy, where it's first down and 10 to go. No score. 1:46 left to go. Jimmy Jones back to throw. He's being rushed and being thrown for a big loss back at the 39-yard line, and little Ed Perriard is back there and on him. Ed Perriard back to throw Jimmy Jones for the big loss and make the big play. They say Jimmy was first grabbed at the 36-yard line. So a big defensive play by the littlest guy in the middle of that Nebraska defensive line, Dave.
Well, particularly a big play. This is third down. Undoubtedly, Jones is going to go to the air. If Nebraska can break this, it's going to be far back for even a good field goal kicker like Ayala. They've moved it out of field goal range pretty good.
First and 10, Nebraska at the Troy 37. 18 in from this side as they go to the east. We're on the south side of this field here at the stadium. And a keep is by Taggy. He's running outside. He got a block and got to the 31 or 2-yard line. And coming back to make the block was Johnny Rogers, the flanker, out on the right side. Rogers starts downfield and then comes back and throws a block on a would-be linebacker who's coming over to tackle. And he put the ball at the 32. Taggy gets 5 to make 2nd and 5 at the Trojan 32-yard line. No score. Second quarter, and we have 10:58 to play. In that formation, the quarterback, Jerry Taggy, calling his starting count. He's rolling out to his left. He keeps the football, throws his pass, complete out there to Ingles. Ingles got a block, and he's down to the 17-yard line. And it was, who made that block for him over there, Dave? Get that guy's number. Ingles caught that pass. You got it, Dave?
Looked like our right tackle, Carl Johnson, who's a junior, who's replaced Wally Winter, so Bob Devaney is shifting around that offensive line. He has Carl Johnson in there, Dick Rupert.
No, I just got it, Dave. It was Joe Orduna who threw that block.
This is KFAB in Omaha.
Up and knocked the man down. But anyway, they're in the spread. The Cornhuskers with the ball. Taggy pitches out over there. Snice is going to throw. He throws complete, and it's touchdown. Pull one out of the hat there. Dan Snice threw the ball. Taggy pitched to Snice. Snice threw to Guy Ingles, who was hit at the goal line, but he went in and got the TD. Ron Ayala rode him in on his back. Now they're playing for the point. Kicking will be Rogers. Paul Rogers boots it up and through, and it's 7-0. Nebraska over the Trojans with Davis. The quarterback, Jimmy Jones, calls his count. He fakes to Davis. He keeps. He's going to run it. He's running in there close to the goal line. He may have gotten over. Touchdown. Nebraska's Jerry Murtaugh, as Jimmy Jones faked the handoff up the middle, did the rollout to the right side. Murtaugh hit him just before he got to the goal line, but he managed to fall across the line for the touchdown. They're trying for the point. Ayala's kick is up, and it's good, and the score is tied 7-7. What a ball game with 3 minutes, 35 seconds left in this half. Second down, 10 to go. They split receivers left and right. Quarterback Taggy on his roll out to the left. Good protection again. Throws complete over there to Rogers. Touchdown! Bob Devaney had put together an offense, and mother he has. All right, the try for the extra point. The score is now 13-7. Paul Rogers will do the kicking. The ball is down. The kick is up, and the kick is good. And the score is 14-7. With nailed that guy who received the pass, Bill Holland, and dropped him at the 40. And the Cornhuskers go into the locker room leading 14-7 over USC in what's been a slam-bang great football. Jimmy Jones calls that starting count, and he gives the ball with fullback Evans straight in there for the touchdown. And so the Trojans, after intercepting a Jerry Taggy pass, aimed at Frosty Cox, right down at about the 10-yard line with a nice run back by Ayala, set it up at the 35-yard line, and from there they marched down looking like a great football team as they went in there to tie up this ball game with Ayala booting it through, and there it is. Rogers is the wingback or the wide receiver. And there's a quick pitch out to Orduna, who's running the right side. He got a good block. He's breaking over the right side. He's going to the 45, to the 40, the 30. He's to the 20. He's to the 15, the 10, the 5. He's in there. Orduna came wide around the right side. He got a block, and oh, mama, what a block from Dan Snipe. And wait till you see that on the tube. Snipe threw a block, and Orduna, instead of going right, cut back against the green and broke down the left side, had 4 Southern Cal men chasing. He just outran them 68 yards for the touchdown. Paul Rogers just kicked it through, and the score is 21-14. Joe Orduna, what a night this kid is having tonight. And he said, the Lord has done it all for me. He's brought me back from 2 knee operations. And I'll tell you, he had a couple of good knees as he left those guys behind, Dave. 68 yards for young Joe Orduna. What an athlete.
I'll tell you, USC has a pretty fast secondary, and maybe we can ask Dick. You don't see, Dick, who's the spotter from USC, you don't see too many guys get away from that USC secondary. And 2 of the ball players had a pretty good angle on Joe, and he just pulled away, and he just barely got away about the 8-yard line. Somebody made a dive at him. But it was quite a run. Jack, do you have some over there?
Dave, that is absolutely right. That kid saw daylight twice. He had to thread the needle, find the opening, and put the key in the lock in there, Dave, twice. And when he hit that daylight the 3rd time, he just shrugged those shoulders and shifted into high gear, and away he went. Now, the longest runs in scrimmage by Nebraska.
It'll be spotted at the 12 on the hash mark. There's the snap, a low pass. The kick is up, and it's no good. It's off to the right. The pass from center looked a little low, and I think Taggy had a little trouble getting it set up in a hurry. It looked like it was skimming right off the grass. So the kick was no good, and boy, that was a big one. Really, so 11-14 threatens to tie it up. They're over the ball on the 3rd down, 3.5. And Jimmy Jones gives the ball over there to his back. Davis, and he's in there for the touchdown. Went 9.5 yards over his own right side. He got a fine block over there. Somebody had a shot at him at about the 5-yard line. But Davis, a big, strong runner, broke free and got in for the touchdown. And now, here's the try for the point. Ayala will kick. Jones will hold. And Dave, what's he going to do? There's the kick. It's up and it's good. Ayala boots it through. And so now the Cornhuskers' failure on that field goal attempt down there really looks tougher than ever, Dave. But the ball game is 21-21, and still a lot of time, 6 minutes, 44 seconds. Coming in. And coming out is Bill Cush, as Bob Devaney is trying to get some extra power up front to stop the Trojans. All right, a big 4th down of the yard play. The ball just across midfield in Nebraska territory. Jimmy Jones calling his starting count. He turns. He gives the ball off. Oh, there to Cunningham, but I don't believe he made it. I believe Nebraska's defense has stopped him. Hold on. Hold on. They stopped him cold. Hold on. Boy is asking for a measurement, but the way my glasses see it, they stopped him for no gain. Let's see where that ball lies. I believe they got it. I hope you guys were looking to pick those fellas out in the middle of that line with that leg of his. 7 seconds. Southern Cal with the ball at the 50. And it's Jimmy Jones with the ball. He's going back to throw. He's got plenty of time to throw. It's a long, long pass. And it's no good. Incomplete down there. And what coverage as 2 men went back there. Jimmy Anderson and Tom McClellan covering that deep receiver at the 2-yard line. Sam Dickerson. And is the ball game over? The clock says it is, but is it? The players are all coming out on the field, but I'm not absolutely certain. I think the players themselves are in a state of shock. At the end of the football game, and believe me, I'm not joking, I think both of these teams are in a state of shock, Dave. There's no enthusiasm on the part of either. Great day to watch a football game, and the clock runs out. That's the end of the ball game, and Nebraska has beaten the Army by a score of 28-0.
And now it's time for Coach's Wrap-Up with Jack Payne.
Thank you, Dave. Here with the Coach's Wrap-Up program on KFAB. John Melton has come in from the spotting booth to be with us here. His 2nd time with us. John, we win again. We come in, and let's go back here and start out with the ball game. John, things did not look exactly that it settled out coming out of the Southern Cal game, emotional-wise, teed-up-wise. We tangle with an opponent like this. Is this kind of common? One thing you coaches have to fight against, bringing the ball club down to earth and settling down?
That's right, Jack. They played just like they practiced this week. Well, you know yourself, we looked real sluggish out there, didn't we, the first half?
That's right.
But the second half, I think, when Coach Devaney visited with him a little bit at halftime, he brought him back to earth in a hurry, and we played a good second half.
You want to discuss and elaborate on visit with him a little bit for us, Johnny, terminology?
I think he told him exactly what had to be done and who was going to do it, or somebody else was going to do it, so he has a way of getting to him.
All right, let's come down to the second half. We led 7-0 in there. Talk first about Van Bronson coming off the bench to come out and quarterback. John, where in the second half do you feel like that Van really felt like he could do it with this arm?
Van, Jack, has a lot of confidence in himself, and the play that he threw that touchdown pass on, Tom Osborne called it from the press box, and I was glad to see him score and run. But did it look to you like he hurt his elbow again down there at the end of the ball game?
Well, when he took a blow on a play right before he threw the pass, and he went back there holding that elbow, going back to the huddle. Then he threw the pass, and we were just wondering if maybe this couldn't have been a good thing for him psychologically.
Yes.
Well, maybe it's not hurt so bad.
Yes, Van is a good quarterback, as you know, and I'm just tickled to death that he's throwing the ball real well, and both of them. Nice to have both of them, really is.
Talking with John Melton here on our Coaches Wrap-Up Show on KFAB. John, let's talk about the good defense that took place in the second half. You put more pass rush on, you took their running game away from them.
Yes, Jack, you notice there in the first half, the only way we could get a pass rush on them, we had to put a plug on them. And it worked pretty well, but they picked that up the second half a little bit, so we went to another set of defensive signals. We call it an over defense, which we come with 5 men, and they did a real good job getting to the guy.
Right. We noticed that Willie, playing the defensive right end position, he would go in and sort of box. He'd go so far down and then turn, John, and in the first half they were having luck coming inside of him a couple of times, but you quickly stopped that with the linebacker shooting in the second half.
We had to close that down pretty good because there are big splits in those lines, the Army. That was worrying us a little bit, and Willie was so outside contained cautious that it was opening a big hole there, but we had to close it with linebacker.
How do you rate the Army pursuit compared to teams we've seen so far, John?
Army probably isn't as good as Southern Cal, but I think they're certainly a heck of a lot, better than Wake Forest was.
All right, you got the number 2 unit came in and took over, and Army drove the length, all but 2 yards. The kids bowed their backs. This must mean a linebacker coach like you makes you beam a little bit.
Yes. I tell you, it's a great psychological lift for those young kids. Every kid that was in that goal line stand there will be back next year, and it helps, all of them.
Well, unofficially in rushing and passing, Nebraska 451 yards, and we have the Army with 146 yards, total yards, John. Most of that, of course, in the second half when the tide turned.
I'm real pleased. We must have thrown him for a loss for a lot of times because I see they only have 18 yards rushing.
They got 18 yards rushing in the first half, and they got 18 total yards for the whole game, John.
I tell you, I was pretty pleased with our defense all day. I don't think we made very many mistakes. But, they put us in a hole a few times there, but our kids, they hang tough. This Army team hits pretty good, don't they? I thought a few times there they were just real close to spearing, but I think what did the Army get, 1 15-yard penalty today?
Not very many.
Yeah, it's tough to get a penalty against them, and I thought that one, that when Taggy was trying to throw that ball and they called that a fumble, Coach Devaney, I think, visited with him a little bit on that one.
You love that word, visit, huh?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to let you get on downstairs, John Melton. Very good job.
Okay, Jack.
Oh, look, let me ask you this. Why did Warren Powers go to the sideline second?
Well, he wanted to see if he could see from down on the sideline. You see, we have one phone, and we're not getting a chance to do a little changing. So right now, when he goes down on the field, I can see from everything up here. And if I tell Warren, like maybe the guy's playing too deep or something, Warren could do something about changing. But if both of us up in the booth and Monty's busy, with the phone, we can't ever get it to him.
Have a hard time getting someone to
Yes, I sure do.
Thank you, John.
All right,
Pleasure being with you. John Melton.
And the throw master setting up a tea party. I'll tell you, he was able to stand back there and pick out his man and throw it nice and easy.
Nebraska in the power eye, and Taggy takes pitches off. It goes to Rogers. Rogers to the 2. He's in. Touchdown. The power eye with Rogers sent over to the side on the left side. He took the wide pitch and Dan Snice blocked somebody, and that fella's got a hurt all over. Here's the try for the point. The ball is down. The kick is up by Paul Rogers into the wind right through the middle. 7-0. Van Brownson was in the hole.
Able to be disciplined enough.
1st and 10, Nebraska. Ingles split wide on the right end. The quarterback, Taggy, calling the starting count. He gives over there to Kinney. Kinney breaking into the line to about the 9-yard line. Jeff Wright, the captain and cornerback on the right side, gets credit for the stop on Kinney. Short of a first down by about a yard. The ball is at the 9 of the Gophers. It actually is just a shade more than a yard needed. And it's at the 9-yard line of Minnesota. It's on the hash mark, in from the right. And the game again is to Kinney. Kinney diving over, touchdown. Boy, the middle of that Nebraska line, Doug Dumler and Dick Rupert and Donnie McGee, Bob Newton and Wally Winter, they just steamroll them out of there. They look like the Panzer Division up front, I'll tell you. Maybe that's a good name for those guys, Dave, the Panzers. They're looking for some kind of a handle to hang on them. The Black Shirts have got one.
Make sure you say Panzers correctly, because if you call them fancies, I'll tell you, Newton will kill us.
I wouldn't want to be around. Big pig, but really work you over. The ball is down. Rogers' kick is up, and it's good. For Nebraska, they split men left and right, and Taggy pitches out over there to Orduna, who's going to throw into the end zone. Little guy Ingles, touchdown. But that was just that funny. Ingles was so alone, he could have sat down and knit one and pearls two. He just was all by himself, and Orduna threw that ball like a falling leaf into that wind, and all Guy could do was just stand there and wait, and it must have been an interminable wait, but it finally fell in his hands, but there was nobody close. Try for the point. It's up and it's good. And it's 21-7. Nebraska leads in this first quarter with 1 minute and 50 seconds left to play. Dave, it's and that's something to see.
I'll tell you, that's the worst thrown pass I've ever seen in my life. And it kind of reminds you that the pheasant season opens in Nebraska November 7th. I'll tell you, Orduna threw it in the air. They picked it up on radar, I think, at the Minneapolis airport. It's the worst thrown pass I've ever seen. But Ingles was so alone that, he looked like one of those... Dentine commercials or something.
Well, we don't mean that disparaging of Joe. Joe threw a soft pass, and the pass on a normal day would have been fine, but into this 23-mile-an-hour wind, that thing just flip-flopped all the way to Ingles.
That's very nice, but it was a loud pass. I'll tell you, Joe,
well, Nebraska not going to go for a field goal. They lead 28-10. They want to stick in another touchdown if they can, but those Gophers have a lot of beef hanging up over that goal line, and they're protecting it well up to now. Taggy rolling out to his right. He's going to throw. Touchdown. Terry Taggy had you-know-who, little guy Ingles, and he beat number 28, Mike White. And White just threw up his hands looking at the Minnesota bench. He just threw his hands in the air as much as to say, what could I do? He just plain beat him. Ingles broke into the middle, then cut for the sideline. Taggy laid it right in his sticky fingers. So the Cornhuskers now lead 34-10, and Rogers will try another one into the wind. Brownson will hold the ball. Rogers has not missed this year. Here he is kicking into the wind again, and it's good. And the score is 35-10. Nebraska over the Gophers with 13 minutes left to play in the ball game. Paul Rogers is going to have to kick it into the wind again now. As Nebraska going against the wind in this quarter.
Watch him jump around out there. He's constantly in motion before that ball is snapped.
3rd and 8.5. Minnesota. Morgan on a rollout to the right. He's being chased by Glover. He got away from Glover. He fires a long, long pass. Cush intercepts for Nebraska. He's on his feet to the 30. He's to the 20, 35, the 40, to the 45, and down he goes at the 45-yard line of Nebraska. Oh, boy. And somebody was blocking for Cush. Dave, did you get it, or were you counting the crowd?
No, I really think that's a fine.
You know, the thing I like about you, David, is you're so alert. Put that ball at the 45. You're such a help. Oh, love that man. Put it at the 45. The 45 of Nebraska ball game. And we have 1 minute and 23 left. Morgan, the quarterback for University of Minnesota, in there to throw. He throws over the middle, and that pass was intercepted. Upfield comes the Nebraska man with the ball, Hauge. Hauge runs to the 45. He's still running, and he tucks the ball in as he's checked at the 43. How about that? That pass was actually knocked down first by the Nebraska cornerback. He cut in front of the receiver, and I think it was Blaha who deflected the ball, and it bounced into the hands of Bruce Hauge. And Hauge, the big guy, 220-pound linebacker, ran to the 43 of Minnesota, where it's Nebraska 1st and 10. And how the home folks must like to see Bruce Hauge playing that kind of football, as well as Monty Johnson. These are two kids right from this area. And there's the ball game. Nebraska wins it 35-10 here at Memorial Stadium in Minneapolis. They were the 9-point favorite. They won by 25.
Kansas to play the Kansas Jayhawks in the Valley of the Car. And what a football game. It all started when Schneis goes for a touchdown after a Dave Morrock pass interception.
They're in the very same formation with flankers out both left and right. It's 2nd and 11 Kansas, the Kansas 19. The quarterback, Dan Heck, takes the ball, rolls out. He can run. He throws on the run, and it's intercepted at the 20, and he's knocked out of bounds at the 18, and that's Morrock making a great interception of Dan Heck's pass, and the Cornhuskers have the ball in KU territory. Mark it at the 17-yard line, 1st down and 10 to go.
It'll be 2nd down goal to go, Nebraska, from the 1 1/2-yard line, as the Huskers are proving to be great opportunists right now and trying to get on that board right here at the start of the ball game. Split angles out to the right, put Rogers in the slot. Here's the snap and the give to Dan Schneis, and Schneis has got it. Touchdown, Nebraska.
No flags. We're all free.
They moved that ball right straight down after the pass interception for the touchdown, and Danny Schneis, who spends most of his time blocking, got the call from Van Bronson, and he smacked it in from 1.5 yards out, and it comes with 13 minutes, 18 seconds left to play in the first quarter.
So you can see Nebraska scored early in the ball game. Co-captain and fullback Danny Schneis getting the touchdown.
They're in the spread. Quarterback Bronson on a 1st and 10 at the Jayhawk 45. Takes a long count at the line of scrimmage. He gives it Schneis. First through to the 35 to the 30-yard line. Big Dan Schneis. He hasn't done a lot of running this year. Most of his time has been spent just running over people to make room for the ball carrier. But that time, it was just a quick blast right over Doug Sumler, the center, for 15 yards, and Schneis put it at the 31 of Kansas, 1st down and 10 to go.
Just a word here about Dan Schneis, one of the finest blocking fullbacks in the country, a fine co-captain for Nebraska, a great football player from West Bend, Wisconsin. Well, it looked pretty good as the Huskers had scored early in that ball game, but my goodness gracious, Kansas came back with a vengeance, and you know Kansas went out in front 20-10 before the Cornhuskers were able to make their move. We had said after the score went to 20-10 that Nebraska must come back with the big scoring play. They must get on the board in a hurry. Well, after the ball was kicked into the end zone and brought back out to the 20-yard line, we had no more made that statement than this play came up.
Here's the snap to Van. The fake. He wants to throw deep. He's got a man downfield. He's got it. Engels. Engels at the 30, the 25, the 20, the 15, the 10, the 5. Touchdown.
I don't see any flags, Dick.
Come up over the football at their own 20, 1st down and 10 to go. They have a wide end spread at the left side. That's Engels. And the quarterback, Bronson, is going to throw. He throws it out there, intended for Engels. He's got it at the 40, 30, 20. He's all the way. Touchdown. Guy Engels got in behind Willie Amerson and caught that ball perfectly, absolutely perfectly thrown from the hands of Van Bronson. Mind you, he's throwing into the breeze. The ball was at the Nebraska 20, and Bronson threw the ball all the way to the 43-yard line of Kansas. That's where Engels took it on his fingertips. He had Amerson beat one step, and went on the end. They couldn't catch him. This kid can run as well as catch. They couldn't catch him, and he went all the way in. It was an 80-yard touchdown strike, and suddenly the Big Red is back on the board.
There it was, the 80-yard touchdown heave from Van Bronson to Guy Engels, the senior from Omaha, Nebraska.
So the Huskers break into their spread formation. On a first down at the Kansas 45-yard line, the quarterback Bronson calling a starting count, gives to his big fullback Snice, who breaks into the line, and Snice goes all the way to the Jayhawker 34-yard line. The Jayhawkers on defense looking for the wide stuff from Nebraska. So Bronson keeps firing the big 222-pound Dan Snice into the middle. And he put him at the 34-yard line of Kansas, another first down.
Bronson had himself a fine day against Kansas, and he was not without scoring a touchdown himself. It went like this.
Slot right. Van Bronson shouting out signals. They need 5 from the 15. Here's the fake by Bronson. He keeps, moves to the 10, moves to the 5. Touchdown! No flags down from the 15-yard line. Van Bronson carries it in. Boy, he faked that ball beautifully. Faked it off twice, and you know, Dick, as he continued to run at the 10, he still had Kinney trailing behind him. He could have pitched the ball. He was looking all the time, found an opening, and went ahead and charged on through it.
So you see, Van Bronson, Tricky Van, was not without running that football either. He turned in a good ball game.
And going wide out of the right is split end Guy Engels. In the slot right is Johnny Rogers. Nebraska in the yard. Second and a long 7. And the give this time is to Orduna over the left side, and Orduna's to the 18-yard line, close to another first and 10. And there again is the switching of the I-backs to keep them fresh, as Bob Devaney says.
Nebraska evidently got their dander up after trailing 20-10, and they were going to come back and score again. Johnny Rogers, who wanted 8 touchdowns in his sophomore career, had scored in every ball game, and he scores again this Saturday.
Third down, 5 yards to go for the touchdown. There's no tomorrow. Orduna goes in motion. Here's Kinney, thrower. Van Bronson throwing to Johnny Rogers. Johnny Rogers, touchdown. And Van Bronson again took a whale of a shot, but he's back up. And Rogers continues his scoring streak as he's now scored in his 6th straight ball game.
So there you have it, Johnny Rogers scoring again, and it sounded so very easy as we play it back, doesn't it? It was a little bit tougher on that particular Saturday.
Second and 10, Kansas. They're in the pro set. Conley is back in the ball game now, and there's a pass right over the middle, intercepted by Anderson at the 36. He's to the 40. He's to the 45. He's hit down at the Nebraska 47. That was the throw right over the middle. It was intended for Ron Jesse, the flanker on the left side, who went straight down and turned into the center. Anderson was with him all the way, went up and made a great intercept on his fingertip, and ran it out to the 47-yard line of Nebraska, where it's first down and 10. The quarterback, Dan Heck, hands under the center, takes the ball, takes it off, he throws it over there. It's intercepted by Cush. Cush at the 30. He's to the 35, the 37, and down he goes at the 37-yard line. On that play, the quarterback, Heck, as Dave and Jack were talking, he had to go to the air pretty soon. And that one was tipped by a linebacker. It was intended for Larry Brown, the tight end. It was tipped and went into the air, and Bill Cush, the quick kid from Columbus, picked it off.
So Nebraska had won their 2nd straight Big 8 football game as they defeated the Kansas Jayhawks 41-20.
Slot back right is Rogers, split in right is Engels. And the fake handoff, and Bronson keeps it. He's to the 3-yard line and then driven back. He was to about the 2 or 3. Let's see what they say his progress was. Bronson faked his handoff that time to his I-back. Orduna kept the ball and got to the 3-yard line, so it's going to be 3rd down and 3 to go for the touchdown. And little Guy the Fly Engels goes out of the ball game, and in to replace him is Woody Cox at the split end. 3rd down, 3 to go for the touchdown. It's on the hash mark in from the east sideline, and Bronson, a quick pitch over there to Orduna. Orduna's in, touchdown! A little pitch out, took the ball from Bronson, and behind great blocks from Newton, List, Johnny Rogers, and Dan Snice went in there for the TD. The ball is down, Paul Rogers' kick is up, and it's no good. He has missed his first extra point try of the season. He was, I think, 28 for 28 up to right there, and he missed his first extra point attempt. All right, right, the ball is at the... It's 6-0 now for Oklahoma State Cowboys trailing Nebraska. Now they'll get their first shot at putting their hands on the football. 8.5 minutes left to play. Nebraska monopolized that ball for 6.5 minutes in that 75-yard drive. A 75-yard drive puts Nebraska out in front by a score of 6-0. And now the Oklahoma State Cowboys back to receive this kickoff. And back there deep is Pat Brown, number 30. In the middle is Dick Graham, and he's really elusive. Bobby Cole is to his left, and there's the kick by Rogers. A high end-over-ender. Graham takes the ball at the 3. He runs out, he hands it off, takes his hand off, keeps it. He broke into the clear. He may go all the way. He's to the 40. He's to the 45. He's all the way down for the touchdown. Oh, mother, he went 97 yards, just exactly, came right up the middle. He took that kick, which was a beautiful high kickoff. He faked a handoff as he came up the middle. As we've told you, they pull a lot of trickery on their kickoff, but he kept the ball, and they made a good fake out of it. He split right up the middle and went all the way in for the TD, and now the try for the point. Uwe Bruce kicks it through, and Oklahoma State goes in front. The Cowboys, Dan Blackard in there at left tackle offensively. 5 minutes left first quarter. Oklahoma State 7-6 over Nebraska. Even wide right to the left, and wide right is Graham. Quarterback Pounds going straight back to throw. He's got good protection. The ball is batted in the air. Caught by Adkins. He's to the 30, the 25, the 20, the 10. He's in there. Touchdown. On the play, the quarterback, Tony Pounds, dropped straight back to throw. He had pretty good protection. Then it broke down. Willie Harper, the right end for Nebraska, came in with the rush, jumped high in the air, batted the ball in midair, drove it straight across, parallel to the line of scrimmage, right into the hands of the other defensive end on the left side, Johnny Adkins, and Adkins ran all the way back for the touchdown, and Nebraska will go for 2 points. They're going for 2, and rolling out is Brownson. He's faking a pass. Now he's throwing into the end zone. Touchdown. It's good. Double extra point. That double extra point right into the very corner to Orduna, and he barely could hang on to the ball. He juggled it a bit, but just got control enough to make it good for 2 points. And suddenly Nebraska now has struck back to go ahead 14-7. What a great play by Willie Harper, and he batted that ball. This is the kind of defensive play that the coaches try to teach to these linemen. Come in there with those hands up high. He batted it into the hands of Adkins, the left end, the right end to the left end for a touchdown. Dave?
Wow, I tell you, Willie Harper must have great reflexes because we have seen him on plays like this all year long deflect the pass. This time he was able to get one big paw on it, knock it right in the hands of Adkins, who was running, coming in from the other side. The ball came right in his hand, and he had...
Flypaper hands. Guy the Fly Engel got in behind Tom Caraway. He really boxed him. He just left him counting his chains. I'll tell you, got in behind, and Brownson put it right on the money. The ball is down, the kick is up. It's good. And Nebraska now 24, Oklahoma State 7. Brownson, a 40-yarder, right into the hands of Guy Ingles, who beat Tom Caraway down the left side. He was really flying. Mark into the east sideline. 9:53 left in the half. Nebraska leading 24-7. Herman Eben, the split end on the right side for Oklahoma State, and Tony Pounds is back to throw. He gets it off over the middle. Incomplete and intercepted. Intercepted at the 49-yard line. Oh, you had to see that one to believe it. Little Dick Graham, the jackrabbit, well, he's more like a cottontail, got by Jimmy Anderson. the cornerback, and was breaking over the middle. The pass was high. He juggled it. It came off his hands, and Anderson, who was just a step behind him, intercepted the pass and fell at the Nebraska 49. That's the second interception. All right. It's Nebraska now back to the attack. 1st and 10 at the 49, and Snice gets about 6 or 7 yards, right up the middle. 9.5 minutes left in this half. 24-7, Nebraska leads. What a tough break for those Cowboys from Stillwater. That ball could not be controlled by little Dick Graham, and he is a little guy, 5'9", 172. Right behind him, a step behind, was Jimmy Addison. Now it's Nebraska, 2nd and 4 at the 44-yard line, and there's a reverse running over there to Kinney. And Kinney is hit down on an inside reverse to the 42-yard line. Mark Hatley gets credit for the stop for the Cowboys. The ball on the hash mark in from the west side, short of the first down by a couple of yards. It's 3rd down coming up for Nebraska. And the Huskers huddling to break out of there into the spread. Ingles wide right, and to the left is Johnny Rogers. A 3rd down play with a long 2. And they give us to Snice into there, and he's got the first down and a lot more, all the way to the 36. And it looked like a highway department snowplow going through as Rupert and Dumler and Newton were leading the way, and Big Dan Snice came right behind them. Put the ball at the 36 of Oklahoma State, and Guy the Fly Ingles goes out. In to replace him, Woody Cox at the split end.
Because the kid is really well built, and I'm sure he weighs more than 158.
Well, he's a midget blacksmith is what he really is. It's at the 24-yard line. 1st down and 10, and they give us to Orduna over the right side. He's to the 15. He's to the 11-yard line. Joe Orduna, the I-back, split over his own right tackle, and that's over top of Johnny McGee and the boys on the right side, and they really blocked it open for him. He split through there in a hurry and almost got the distance. The ball will go for the yardage. Here they are, up over the ball. Orduna is the I-back. Brownson gives the ball to Orduna. He dives. Touchdown! That the Cornhuskers work on all of the time. Orduna diving over the line. For Nebraska. Bennion stands at the 15 of the Oklahoma State Cowboys, who trail now 31-7. His kick is away, and it's a low driver. Rogers likes these. He takes it on the 35. He's to the 40, the 45. He's the 40, the 30. He's all the way home. When that ball was halfway down the field. Oh, mother, don't kick that ball low to Johnny Rogers. He will just swallow that ball and swallow you at the same time. He took that on a dead run. The ball is down, the kick is up, and it's in. It's good. Oh, he is something else. 40 seconds left to play in this game, and the score still 58-19. The Huskers lead it, but the Cowboys want to get some more points on that board and look respectable. Pounds is under a rush. He's being chased. Now he throws a little screen, intercepted by Nebraska. He's back to the midfield. It's Decker to the 30, to the 20, and he's all the way. Tony Pounds, who tried to throw a screen, and the man who was after him, just like an antelope, was number 79, Dick Glover. He threw over Glover's head on a little screen, but there was nobody home. Johnny Decker, the monster man for Nebraska, picked it off at the 20-yard line, and ran 80 yards for a touchdown. So the score is 64-19, and Nebraska's Bob Devaney, under the Devaney regime, has just shattered scoring records. They were equal at 58 points to Bob Devaney's highest output since being at Nebraska, but this breaks them all as the second and third string defensive unit get an 80-yard touchdown, and the score is now 64-19 Nebraska.
Wow, that has to be Johnny's first college touchdown, isn't it? I don't remember him scoring as a sophomore or junior, and it couldn't happen to a nicer kid. I'll tell you, he's a great boy.
I'm sure it's his first, Dave. Brownson will hold, and Paul Rogers will try this extra point, and the snap, the ball is down, the kick is up, and good. And the score is now 65-19.
Here's your host for the first half of this ball game, and Nebraska goes back into this stretch, and the Buffaloes threw up a six-man front with one linebacker in the middle, straight over the center. The quarterback, Brownson, rolling back under good protection. He throws over the middle, complete to Rogers. He's to the 45, he's to the 50. He falls at the 45 of Colorado. Johnny the Jet Rogers, cutting out to the left, cut right in behind the line of scrimmage. Took a flip from Van Brownson, the Shenandoah, Iowa kid, and it was right on the money. Rogers flipped and went down at the 46-yard line of the Buffaloes, 1st and 10, Nebraska. Splitting goes to the wide left. Rogers in the slot to the left. The quarterback, Brownson, has him in the eye. There's a whistle. Hold on. Hold on. And there's a dog on the field. Well, how about that one, sports fans? A German Shepherd is down there at about the 15, and they're trying to entice him off the end of the football field. The official is not back. Orduna still at the I-back. It's 2nd and 8 for Nebraska at the Buffalo 39-yard line. And Brownson takes his hand off beautifully. He's going to throw. He's throwing long. He's got Ingalls at the 10. He's in there. Touchdown. On a 39-yard pass, but the irony of the whole thing is he could have hit Johnny Rogers. He was wide open as all day. They were both in the clear, long, and it was in behind number 16, Cullen Bryant. That time, and I think Bryant flipped a bit as he tried to cover Ingalls. Nebraska going for two. Brownson rolling out. He throws into the end zone incomplete. And waiting for this kick to start with 11:22 left to play in this fourth quarter. Nebraska leading by a narrow 2 points now. They have been unable to get on the board with a touchdown since early in this ball game. They scored 2 touchdowns that looked almost ridiculously easy on 2 long passes to Guy Ingalls. But since that time, the Buffalo defense has shackled them in pretty doggone good shape, I'll tell you. Meantime, the Buffalo running game has really come to the front. All right, here's the kick by Colorado. And it's a long kick taken by Kinney at about the 2-yard line. He's running back up to the left side. He's to the 20. He's to the 25. He's to the 30, the 35, the 40. He's to the 50. He's to the 45. He's to the 35, to the 25, and down he goes at the 20. Jeff Kinney went 77 yards to the Buffalo 21-yard line. He went from Nebraska's 2 to the Buffalo 21. So now the Cornhuskers, leading by 2 points, break out of that huddle and over the ball. And the give is to Orduna.
In Ames, Iowa. And the Nebraska Cornhuskers, who had been averaging 45 points per game in the last 3 games in Big 8 play, found it much the same way on this Saturday. It started with Joe Orduna.
The I slot right, 2nd down and goal from the 8-yard line. Taggy rolling out, hands to Orduna. What a hole! Touchdown! He goes into that end zone standing up.
Dick Rupert, Donnie McGee, some real tough blocking in there on the right side of that offensive line.
And that touchdown comes with 1 minute and 33 seconds left to play in the first quarter.
And a statement we used frequently throughout the season, there was a hole big enough to drive a semi-truck through. It happened regularly with a great offensive line by Nebraska.
Holy cow, there's a give to Kinney. Kinney breaking over the left side. He's down to the 45.
the 29, and down he goes. Jeff Penny going into the middle, back in there by Wilford and Newton, and he just cut to his left and went 28 yards to the Cyclone 29-yard line.
Dan Schneis caught a lot of passes on the season, and a particular favorite was that little dump pass right over the middle. Here's the Taggy to Schneis pass.
Second and goal from the 19. Here's Taggy dropping back to throw. Hurry, Jerry. Little screen pass to Schneis. 20, 10, 5, bang! He's down on the 1. The collision comes at the 3-yard line. Here comes Cox wide to the right. Let's see who's called upon right here. Iowa State stacking it up. Here comes Taggy, quarterback sneak. Touchdown! Jerry Taggy on the quarterback sneak, and here come the Oranges.
That's bad.
And I'll tell you something, Dick. I'd like to see the officials, and I'm sure I'll get in all kinds of trouble with Nebraska fans. I'd like to see the officials, before this game is over, if it continues, to step off the penalty.
There it was, as Nebraska fans a bit over-exuberant, throwing those Oranges on the football field.
Otto Stowe split to the left. McCurry is split to the right. They're in the pro set with the two running backs, and Carlson is going back there to throw. Looks for a receiver. He fires it over the middle. Terrio intercepted. He's on his feet to the 45 of Iowa State. He's to the 40. He's out of bounds at the 34-yard line. Terrio, of course, is a converted fullback, and he caught that ball like he knew how. And he set sail from about the 50-yard line. Bill Cush of Columbus threw a fine block for him, along with Dave Morrock, the monster man. The Cornhuskers over the ball. They're in this spread. Taggy on a little roll out to the left. Looks in the end zone. Touchdown to Schneis. They're into the spread, and Dan Schneis was so alone in that end zone. He could have changed into his Sunday shirt in there before anybody could have gotten to it. Taggy just dumped it right over the middle and popped it right into his hands, and Schneis was all alone. All right, first and 10. Nebraska at the 45 of the Cyclone. They are in the spread with white people out on both sides. Taggy gives the ball off to Schneis. Schneis is to the 40. He's to the 35 to the 30, and he's hit out of bounds at the 28-yard line. That was just a little pullback draw as Taggy on a beautiful fake went back as if he were to drop straight back to throw, but he gave it off to Schneis. Schneis hit it well. Taggy bootlegged all the way back, but Schneis fooled everybody and got to the 27-yard line of the Cyclone. First down 10.
Johnny Rogers did not score in the Colorado game. He was blanked, but he came back the next week to take this pass from Jerry Taggy.
Here's Taggy shouting out the signals, waiting for the snap. There it comes. Taggy's back to throw. Looking over the middle. He's got it. Touchdown, Johnny Rogers. Well, all they needed was a little timeout. John Rogers takes that pass from the 14-yard line for the touchdown. The scoring play comes with 4 minutes and 33 seconds left to go in the third quarter.
Iowa State comes over the ball. Wide receiver to the left. The quarterback, Dean Carlson, takes the ball. Takes his hand off, and he keeps the ball. He's back to throw. He throws over the middle, intercepted by Cush. He's to the 10, the 15. He's to the 20. He's to the 30. He's to the 35, to the 36, and down he goes. They intended that pass for Otto Stowe, but Bill Cush of Columbus came over and made a great interception at about the 3-yard line, ran it back to the 36. And it's Nebraska again with the ball now. All right, second and 2.5, and Taggy takes the ball. He gives it over to Ingles on the end around. Ingles got a great block. He's to the 30. He's to the 25 to the 23. What a great block by Bob Newton. He cut somebody in two as Ingles on the end around caught him again and moved the ball down to the 23-yard line. It's at the 23 of Iowa State, first down and 10. Rogers splits wide to the right for Nebraska. The quarterback is Taggy. He has them in the spread. A 4-man front for Iowa State. And they give it to Schneis. Schneis up the middle to the 10, to the 5. He's in. Touchdown. I'll tell you, that offensive line is really splitting it out of there. Whoa, they are just absolutely ripping holes. Up front, the try for the point. Bronson, hands outstretched. The kick is up. Paul Rogers puts it through, and the score is now 47-17, Nebraska leading.
So the Huskers had a big afternoon against Iowa State. The final score, Nebraska 54, Iowa State 29. The Nebraska Cornhuskers had now scored.
Nebraska all year long. 3rd and 5, a big one for the Wildcats. Lynn Dickey taking the ball, going straight back. He's under rush, but he gets his pass away, and it's intercepted at the 45 of Nebraska. It's down to the 45, the 30. He's down to the 25, and he's down to the 20, and down he goes. Murtaugh. On the play, Willie Harper put such a rush on the quarterback, Lynn Dickey, that he had to throw on the run, going backward, and he threw a wobbly ball. Jerry Murtaugh, the linebacker, grabbed it at the Nebraska 45. They say he stepped out at the 30. So it'll be a 25-yard return to the Nebraska 30 by Jerry Murtaugh. 1st and 10, the Cornhuskers with a big break right here with an interception of the first tipping pass. And now the quarterback is Jerry Taggy. Taggy gives the ball on a cutback to Johnny Rogers. He's going all the way. Touchdown, Johnny Rogers, and red balloons are filling this gray sky. On the very first play, Taggy made a gorgeous fake into the middle to his fullback, Knight. And they took it on an inside reverse. Johnny Rogers was set outside the left tackle, came on an inside reverse over the right side. One man got a hand on him, that was all. Here's Paul Rogers' conversion. It's good, 7-0 Nebraska. Only one man got his hand on Johnny Rogers.
North Carolina 28-7 over Clemson at the half.
The Huskers break out of there. They send Ingalls wide on the right end side. In the slot to the right is Johnny Rogers. Taggy has them in the eye. He sends Rogers in motion again this time. And now Taggy is dropping straight back. He's looking for somebody to throw to. He's going to run the ball. He's to the 20. He's to the 15, to the 10, to the 5, and down he goes. Dan Knight went ahead of him. And Taggy automatically on this play, when he sees he can run, he yells run, because the pass was on. He found no one to throw to, so Knight says, follow me, son, and took him upfield and threw a great block. Taggy finally hauled down by Melcher for Kansas State at the Wildcats 3, where it's 1st down and 3 to go for the touchdown. Kansas State's defense went with Rogers, who was in motion going the other way. And now Taggy on the give to Ordona. He's in there. Touchdown. Joe fumbled that ball going over the goal line, and whether he had possession or control of it going in the end zone, he dropped it and fell on it in the end zone, and the official waited on it. Yeah, there was no question. He was over the goal line before he lost the ball. He was hit when he was tackled in the end zone, and all you have to have is that ball in your possession as you put that ball to the goal line, which he did, and a little more, no doubt about that one. 13-7, that's the score. Now the try for the point, and there it's up, and it's through, and it's 14-0. Nebraska over Kansas State with 22 seconds left to play in this first quarter. 16 of the Wildcats, squarely between the sideline strike. 6:48 left in the first half. The score 14-7, Nebraska leading. They split end Woody Cox out to the right this side. Taggy gives the ball to Orduna. Orduna to the 10, to the 5, to the 3. Touchdown! They had hands all over him as he came up the middle. He was breaking tackles like twigs and went all the way into that end zone for the touchdown. A beautiful burst up the middle, 16 yards by Jolton Joe Orduna, and what a football player he has been this year. The try for the extra point, waiting for the snap from center. The ball is down, the kick is up, it's good, and the score is 21. Any interference with the man making the fair catch, and it was certainly should be that way. 1st and 10, Nebraska at their own 22.
Of course, too, Lyles, Johnny Rogers put up that hand at the last possible moment, too, for the fair catch.
All right, Nebraska now offensively for the first time in this second half, leading 21-7. They have the wind at their back as Taggy has them in the spread. He calls his count. He fakes his hand off. He throws out in the left flat to Rogers. They're trying to block for him. He's to the 35. He's to the 40. 45, 50. Ingalls goes. Block for him. He's to the 40. He's to the 35. He's to the 20, and down he goes. Johnny Rogers, a little swing pass to the left. Newton and one other man were out there blocking for him, Newton and Rupert. He came all the way, crisscrossing the field, and he came up to about the 40 of Kansas State. Guy the fly, threw a block, and he went on down to the 18. In the closing minutes this year. As long as he's in there, you are in trouble. All right, Dickey fakes his handoff. He throws over the middle. The pass was intercepted by Blaha. He could go. He's to the 30, the 40, the 50, the 45, the 40, the 30, and down he goes. Great interception cut right in front of John Gerger, who had beaten him earlier. He cut in front of Gerger just as the other Columbus boy, Cush, did earlier in this ball game on Hawthorne, and he stole that ball. Blaha did and went all the way to the 30 of Kansas State, and now Nebraska's offense in motion again. A quick pitch out there to Orduna. He's trying the left side. He's to the 20. He's still on his feet to the 18, to the 15, and down he goes. Beautiful running by Joe Orduna. Good blocking by Snipe and Taggy. On that pitch out to the eye back, deep in the eye, swinging wide to the left. Snipe and Taggy, who pitches out, both lead the runner, and Orduna made great moves on the cornerback and got to the 16 of Kansas State, where it's first down and 10. And it is to Orduna into the end zone. Touchdown. Pulled it over the left side as he made that leaping dive and went in for the extra point, and it's 30-7. 30-7, Nebraska over Kansas State. Holding the ball will be Brownson. Kicking will be Paul Rogers. The ball is down, the kick is up, and the kick is no good. It's off to the left side. So it's 30-7. All right, it's the Cats now. Back to the attack, and Dickey of the white shoes back there to throw. He fires it over there, intercepted again by Blaha. He's to the 25, to the 20. He's on his feet. He's to the 15. He's to the 12, and down he goes. Oh, that pair from Columbus, they are demons. Blaha stole it from Henry Hawthorne. And now Nebraska back at the 12 of Kansas State. And Mr. Dickey is being given a tough afternoon.
I don't mean to be immodest, but I did point out, those long sidelines.
All right, here's a big one for the Cornhuskers. 3rd and 10 at the 12, and Taggy dropping back to throw. Has nice touchdown. Jerry Taggy saw that Kansas State was plugging the linebackers to get to him. They were moving them up in the defensive line and plugging them through to put the rush on Taggy. So he dropped straight back, let him come at him, and sniped his fullback. Go back to the air again, and he's not had good success in this second half by a long shot. All right, it's a first down, and Dickey is back there, straight back to throw. He fires over the middle. Morak intercepted. He's to the 40. He's to the 30. He's to the 20. He's to the 10. He's going. Touchdown. They were trying to hit Terry Draper, at about between the 35 and the 40, and the monster man, Morak, came off there, stole that football, and went back on a beautiful run back, and went in there to score. Woo-wee, blooey, they're blowing it open. The snap to Brownson, the down ball is down, the kick is up, and Rogers puts it through. And back there, they mark at the 8-yard line.
Lyle Dickey has been intercepted 7 times. Joe Blaha 3, Dave Morock 1, Jerry Murtaugh 1, and Bill Cush 2.
All right, the ball of the have won a big one and soundly thumped the Wildcats from Manhattan, coached by Vince Gibson. Bob Devaney and Vince Gibson going out there in the center of the field to shake hands.
Goal kicker is Paul Rogers, and he is not in the ball game. Nebraska, 4th and goal from the Oklahoma 1-yard line. Johnny Rogers on the wing to the right. Ingalls split wide right. Orduna tailback. Taggy to Orduna. Left side. He's stopped. The center stopped Nebraska at the 1-yard line. A great tackle by Rick Mason and Steve Castile. Orduna went over left tackle and got nothing. Oklahoma stops the Huskers and takes over on downs at the 1.
Well, you got to say that's a tremendous defensive effort because Nebraska hadn't been stopped many times at all this year, and they certainly haven't been stopped inside the 5-yard line very many times. The Sooners put on a gallant defensive effort. Now let's see if the offense can move it out of there.
From the Nebraska 5-yard line, Jack Mildren fakes the crosswise, keeps it over the left side at the 3, at the 2, at the 1, and he scores, I believe. Yes, touchdown Oklahoma. Mildren kept the ball beautifully over the left side.
Well, they didn't go on a look-in, but they got it in there just the same. Mildren did a beautiful job running the ball. He went to his left and then came back inside and ran very well because he was in heavy traffic all the way. Excellent job of running on Mildren.
Woody Cox split wide to the left side. On the wing to the left is Johnny Rogers. Jeff Kenny in the tailback spot from the Nebraska 47-yard line. 1st down and 10 yards to go. Jerry Taggy fakes the handoff. He's back to pass. He throws up the middle. Rogers complete at the Oklahoma 38. Gets away from 2 tacklers down the sideline. 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown Nebraska.
Well, the Sooners killed themselves on the play because 2 of the OU pass defenders knocked each other away from Rogers. They had him, but they hit each other and couldn't hang on to him. And now the Oranges are going on to the field. Of course, Nebraska on the way to the Orange Bowl. That already a conclusion. And
handoff to Wiley over left side. Good hole for him. 35, 30, at the 25, at the 20, at the 15, at the 10, at the 5. Touchdown Oklahoma.
Joe got out there and behind that halfback, and once he got behind him, the safety man was coming across, and Joe slowed down. He knew he had it made, and he knew they weren't going to catch him, and in he went. And I don't know what's happening here, folks, but I'm enjoying it.
A tremendously impressive drive of 75 yards in 7 plays, and the Sooners never had to go for 1st down. Orduna tailback, Taggy to Orduna, left tackle, touchdown. A 3-yard plunge by Orduna, and he really didn't have to plunge. The hole was opened up by Dick Rupert and Carl Johnson, the left guard and left tackle for Nebraska. And the Huskers have just gone 79 yards in a tremendously impressive drive. They trail again by 1 point, 14-13, with 1:35 to go before halftime. And Paul Rogers will try to add the extra point.
But he certainly has the moves.
It's 3rd and 9 for Nebraska at the Oklahoma 13-yard line. Jerry Taggy has his team with wide receivers to both sides of the field. Only one back behind him. That's Dan Schneis. Taggy, the quarterback, drops straight back in the pocket to pass. He looks. He throws in the end zone. Touchdown. Guy Ingalls, the split end, went down and across. Came back toward the middle on a post pattern, as they call it. And he leaped high in the air and caught the pass dead on target from Jerry Taggy. A 13-yard TD pass. Nebraska leads for the first time today. At the 10 in Nebraska territory. 2nd down and goal to go for the Sooners. Trailing 21-14 with 14:53 to go in the game. Pruitt flanked outside. Franklin wide to the right. The wide side of the field is to Oklahoma's right. Jack Mildren fakes to cross right, pitches to Wiley. Wiley looks in the end zone, throws a pass. Touchdown, Oklahoma! Wiley threw it to Franklin for the touchdown. Joe Wiley passing off a fake sweep around the right side to Willie Franklin, and he scores, and it's 21-20. And Oklahoma will try to tie it up 3rd and 11. Wide receivers out to both sides. Here's Taggy. He's back to pass. Good protection. Throws down the middle for Schneis. Complete at the 5 at the 3-yard line. Fullback Dan Schneis caught it at the 5 and went to the 3-yard line.
Schneis had to make a circus catch of the ball. He had to go high in the air, and he bobbled it twice in the air before he finally hung on to it. all you can say is this one heck of a catch. The Sooner defenders were there. There just wasn't anything they could do to keep him from catching.
High formation. Here's the quarterback keeper by Taggy. Leans over the left side. Touchdown. Jerry Taggy, who weighs 215 pounds, leaned over the left guard spot, went in for the touchdown, and Nebraska travels 53 yards on that drive in 10 and 11 plays, and goes on top for the second time today, 27-21. And the ball game to try the extra point is Paul Rogers. Van Brownson will hold, so for the first down, 27 yards needed for the touchdown. That could give them a victory if they went for two and made it. Threw it on the wing to the right. Jack Mildren, the quarterback. Here we go. Fourth down play. Mildren drops back to pass. Mildren looks. He throws in the end zone. Tipped in the air. Intercepted by Anderson as the time runs out at the 10. And he runs out of bounds on the far side at the gun. That's the end of today's football game with the final score: Nebraska 28, Oklahoma 21. We'll be back in 60 seconds with a wrap.